Good morning everyone. Today I am presenting you a country destination is known as Mongolia. So as you can see, Mongolia is very famous for the what you can say, the landmass of Mongolia. The Gobi Desert is there in Mongolia, and we know Mongolia because of the one person known as Genghis Khan. So Genghis Khan was the person or the conqueror who conquered most land on the earth than anyone else. Julius Caesar, even Alexander. He conquered the more land than anyone else on the earth. So he is very famous, and because of Genghis Khan, we know the Mongolia. So in this I will explain you the general facts, the history, the geography, the flora and fauna, the culture of Mongolia, in which I will explain people, music, food, famous personalities of Mongolia, some famous destinations and some interesting facts about the country. So some general facts. The country name is Mongolia. The capital is Ulaanbaatar. The official language is Mongolian. The religion is 51% people are Buddhist over there. After that, 40% have no religion, means they are nomads. The nomads are the tribe of people who roam around, and they don't follow any specific religion. Some of them has like the given below shamanism. Shamanism was the shamans were the people who used to bless Mongolian or the nomads when they used to go to war. So 3.2% are the shamans over there. 2.5% are the Islam, and others are some minority are some from Christianity and all. The currency is Torok. The Torok is the currency of Mongolia, and in that you have as we have the picture of Mahatma Gandhi on our notes, they have the picture of Genghis Khan on their notes on the currency. The population estimated by 2020 is around 3,35,000. 33,470. So some general facts. Government type is unitary semi-presidential republic. President is Ulaglem Kuchike. National day is on 29 December. National anthem is Mongol Urson Dion. National symbols is this is the emblem of Mongolia, in which they show as a flying horse. And in the Mongolian culture, horses are given the most, what you can say, the most prestige or the most importance in the Mongolian culture, because Mongolia were used to able to conquer the land only because of the horses, because they were fast, and they invented the warfare of bow and arrow while on the horseback. They were the first country to invent bow and arrow combat on the horseback. So this is the history of Mongolia. As you can see, the Mongolia in the dinosaurs era, Mongolia was the land where dinosaurs used to roam, and nowadays we know it as a Mongolia. Scientists are finding, paleontologists are finding many of the some old bones and all over there. After that, we know as the great Mongolian, they were the tribe of nomads. And after that, the Temujin, known as the Genghis Khan, after he took the name, he gathered all tribes and made the great Mongolian army, and he conquered the whole area of there. As you can see, he was the first person who conquered China. The whole China was under the rule of Genghis Khan, and he conquered the whole area. He was at the edge of India, but he didn't invade. There are some reasons for that. Some say because of the religion. He had a respect for Hinduism and Buddhism, so that's why he didn't invade. Also, there was another that the ruler at that time, the Islamic ruler, didn't pose any threat to Mongols. That's why he didn't, what you can say, invade India. And there is another reason. Mongols used to believe, or mainly the Genghis Khan used to believe, the wealth is not something you take with you when you die. So he was not hungry for the wealth and all. Even India was flourishing, and it was called as a gold Sone ki Churiya. But still he didn't invade India because he thought the wealth or the gold was only it means to end. If he had too much wealth, the people will start to rebel and all that. So he was a strategic and most cunning leader the world ever has. And after that, after he died, some 2 to 3 Khans hold the Mongolian Empire together. But after that, the Qing dynasty entered the Mongolian Empire and took Mongolia under its rule. And after that, in World War I, Mongolia sided with Russia, and Russia took Mongolia under his wing. And after that, in 1990, they finally got the independence from Russia and China. So it was a buffer zone between China and Russia. So 2 superpowers, and Mongolia was in the middle. So this is the geography of India, geography of Mongolia. As you can see, one side of Mongolia, the southern side, has a Gobi Desert. So it is all the cold area, and it's very cold. And the upper side, it is all the grasslands and small mountains. So when you go to, that's why they have that much population of horses, because of the grassland and all. But on the southern side, it's all the freezing conditions are there. It is the 18th largest country in the world. The next will be the flora of Mongolia. As you know, in the Gobi Desert, not much plants or animals survive. But there are some snow leopards are there who are there in Gobi Desert. And after in grasslands, you can see birch trees over there, and spruce trees are there. They mainly used it for building their houses. I will show you the architecture, what kind of houses they build. The next will be the fauna of Mongolia. As we know, the fauna of Mongolia mostly include horses, goats, ibex, and eagle. So eagle is also a type of goat, but it is different in species. One of the goats has nose like an anteater. So they have long noses, and it's really rare in many cases. And as you can see, the horses have main importance in Mongolian history. So horses outdate the people 1 to 13. Means one person owns 13 horses in Mongolia. So the population of horses is more than population of people in Mongolia. And also the sheep, they produce a large amount of wool after China. So sheep ratio to person is 1 to 30. Means one person holds 30 sheep. Yeah. Now the architecture. So this is the main, what you can say, the accommodation of nomadic people. They used to build this kind of tents known as gar. These are built with bricks, woods and all, and they can just, if you want to move, they can just pack it up and go to next destination. So it is really easy to pack and unpack and build it again. And they are also studied. In Mongolia there is not much rain. It is all the dry land. But still there is no issue of water because of the ice melts and they get the water. But these kind of, inside you can see it's very luxurious and all. It is the small one, it is only for the one family. But in the time of the Great Khan, they used to build a massive tent for the Genghis Khan and his envoys and all. And they used to pack it in 5 to 6 hours. They used to pack the whole thing and move to next destination, and they put up the tents again. So still many of the 50% are still nomads. Though they still live in this kind of homes over there. In Ulaanbaatar, you can say the capital of Mongolia, the urbanization is there. The speed of increasing urbanization is very high, but still 50% of country lives in this kind of home. The next will be the cultures and festivals and sports. So the Mongolia has very rich culture, and in that mainly the 3 games are very popular, and they gave a great importance in Mongolian history. And the festival is called Nada. It is the biggest festival of Mongolia, and in which they have 3 games. One is the wrestling, second is horseback riding, and third is archery. Some of the famous in old days, some of the famous archers used to come from Mongolia. As I said, they were the people who invented archery from horseback. When means they were able to move while on horse, and they were able to shoot the enemy at accurate precision. That's why the Mongolians were so much deadly, because the speed. If you just think, if you are in horseback and the city or the people are on land, so they used to come fast and raid the town, and they used to conquer that land. So that was their advantage. In the festival of Nada, in the wrestling, wrestling is like that. They have 600 wrestlers at a single place, and the 600 wrestlers, there is no weight limit. Means a 80 kg person can wrestle 30 kg person. So in this festival there is no limit for the weight, and there is a story that there were like 2 to 3 women who like ruled the great Mongolian Empire, and they defeated all the 300 participants in those games. So from them, and they hidden their identities. Because of that, they gave us that kind of attire that it will be revealing that women can participate. And next will be the horseback riding and archery. So they are really great archers. The next will be the music. So in the Mongolian music, music was used in the shaman traditions. There were druids used to chant like some kind of mantras and all. They don't call it as mantras, but as you can see, as you study there, it is sound like a mantras and all. They used to chant as a music and shamanism, but nowadays they have like a music. They call it as a throat singing. Means at a time they produce 2 different sounds from their throat. Means one will be the low tone and one will be the very high tone, and it's really great, as you can see, because not many people can do that, because you can't produce 2 different sounds from your throat at the same time, but they do that. The next will be the food of Mongolia. So Mongolia is a cold area, that's why they depend on the game meat such as lamb, sheep, horse, and the famous the famous beverage of Mongolia is like a horse milk, which is frozen, and then it's like a alcoholic drink they drink. There is a horse milk, and they like ferment it, and that's their national drink of Mongolia called Aribel. That's the drink's name. And after that, you can see the dumplings or the momos. They have like pork and beef in that. Mostly beef is there, and also they use some sheep meat, lamb meat also. After that, so these are the famous food, and these are some famous personalities. First is Genghis Khan. The next is Noygan Toyga. He is the Olympic gold medalist in judo. He was the first person to win a gold medal for Mongolia. And after that, a sumo wrestler named I forgot his name. The sumo wrestler won the second gold medal in Mongolia. Till nowadays, Mongolia has only 2 gold medals in Olympics. The next lady is the cosmonaut and also the ex-military and defense minister of Mongolia. He was the second Asian to go in the space and the first Mongolian to go into space. So some famous destination is Altai Bog National Park. So as you can see in the picture, the landscape of Mongolia is so beautiful. There are too many plains and you can just roam around. And in this national park, they don't have that much of land transportation. There is only one big railroad in Mongolia, and that connects only to Ulaanbaatar and some main cities. So they travel by the horse mostly, and if you want to travel by jeep, you need a 4-wheel drive, because the landscape of Mongolia is not like that. It is a straight road and you can just roam around in like a normal jeep. You need a 4-wheel drive jeep, and mostly they travel on horseback. It is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. After that, the Ulaanbaatar. It is the largest growing city in Mongolia, and the GDP of Mongolia in 2013 was the highest in the world. So this country is flourishing fast and really fast, because they have the husbandry, as I said, the wool. They produce it second only to China. And after that, they have the minerals such as copper, they have silver. So mining and the husbandry, they are the main sources of Mongolia. And Ulaanbaatar is the fastest growing capital. So in Ulaanbaatar, you can see there is a natural the homes I show you. In one area of Ulaanbaatar, you can see those kind of homes, and one area you can see totally metropolitan city. So it is a sight to behold. The next is Okhan Valley. So it is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okhan Valley is very famous for it was the capital of Genghis Khan, and it was said that he used to move capital from specific places of strategic advantage. And then the thing I will say the one in the blue is called the Barul Khulna Mountains. So as we know, the tomb of Genghis Khan is still not found. The people are still trying to research and still trying to find the tomb. and they are saying that Balram Tharun is the place where the tomb is located. But the area is totally protected by the Dakhan tribe, and the tribe was tasked by Genghis Khan at the when he was passing. He ordered the tribe to protect this land till the last breath, and the descendants of tribe are still protected in this land. It is called as a forbidden zone. Only the people from Dakhan tribe and the selected few archaeologists can only go there. If you are caught trespassing, they will shoot you on sight. They won't look at you and all anything. It is very strict. And just think, the order Genghis Khan gave at the time of he was dying, the people are still following that order to the T. They are not ignoring it. They are not saying it. We will find the tomb and we will get the information and we will find where the Genghis Khan tomb is. And the Genghis Khan tomb story is, when he was buried, he said that bury me where I started my journey. So Dahan Kanur was the first place where he started his journey. He was in a very poor family, and it is said that when the ceremonial were handling, they killed all the people who attended the ceremony. After that, they buried the tomb and then trampled 1,000 horses over the tomb area, so there will be no markings. And there is also, I don't know if it's a myth or reality, there was a river. They just changed the flow of river to go flow from the tomb, so you won't be able to find the tomb. So archaeologists are still believing that this tomb is here only, but the Mongolian government is not giving permission, and the tribe is saying no because it was the sacred land to them. And Genghis Khan said himself, because he didn't want it to be his tomb or the body found, because he knew what happens to the famous personalities too. As we know, in Egypt, many pyramids are being targeted by grave robbers. In many tombs, the people are targeting the tomb and desecrating the contents of the tomb. That's why he said he never wanted to be found. And people are, European people make Genghis Khan as a ruthless leader, but he was a very ferocious, he was very cunning, and he was a very enigmatic leader. He was a brutalist sometimes, but he is the first Asian to conquer almost the world. Some amazing facts. Mongolia has the world coldest capital, which is Ulaanbaatar. They don't have any rain or the snowfall, but because of the condition, one side of Gobi Desert and from the second side the winds, that's why it is the coldest capital. The next is the most powerful empire known to man was founded by Genghis Khan. Nomads still live in Mongolia. As I said, 50% population is still nomadic. Mongolia is noted for its horse culture. As I said, horses outnumber people from 1 to 30. The next is Mongolia has the second largest desert, which is the Gobi Desert. After that, Mongolia is called as a land of open sky because they don't have any rain. The whole country has a blue sky, and wherever you go, you will see a clear sky most of the day. Only specific days are there when it rains over there. After that, the Tuham camel, the Bactrian camel, is the place where it lives. This is the only place where the Bactrian camel lives. And also the Mongolian horses, they have a specific characteristic in which they have 2 more chromosomes than the normal horses. That's why they are really fast, they are really sturdy, and the breed is still going on. And Mongolia is noted for the Nadam festival, in which they have 3 games. So that was my presentation of Mongolia. Thank you. If you have any queries, please do ask.